back, everybody. Today I'm going to be talking about the Warriors of Chaos Warband upgrades. In the Warriors of Chaos campaign, it is slightly difficult to recruit high-end units because you rely on the level of chaos corruption in a province rather than buildings for recruitment. The more chaos corruption, the higher chance of units being able to be added to a recruitment pool, and the bigger, stronger units are able to be recruited. However, there's an alternative way to make sure that your armies don't just stay as Marauders the entire campaign. I'm going to be focusing on that today. So, if we look at an army, we can see that there's a little icon down where all of our recruitment options are. It's going to be on the very far right. This is going to open our Warband upgrades. There's several things that you can do in Warband upgrades. You can upgrade units to the next level, turning Marauders into Chaos Warriors, into Chosen, and eventually into Aspiring Champions if you want to do that route. You can also give them marks of a certain demonic god, such as Khorne, Nurgle, Slaanesh, or Tzeentch, making them slightly different than your base units. So, how to do this? First, you click on the unit you would like to upgrade. For example, I would like to upgrade these Marauders. Second of all, there is a prerequisite to being able to upgrade these. They have to be a certain tier of unit. For example, these Marauders here are rank 4. You need to be rank 5 to upgrade into Chaos Warriors. However, I can upgrade into Forsaken right now because I only need to be rank 3. I'm going to start by upgrading these Marauders into Chaos Warriors. The selected unit must be rank 5. It is rank 5, and it takes a little bit of favor to upgrade them. I upgrade them, and they turn into Chaos Warriors. I can also have 3 different options of Chaos Warriors to pick from, with halberds, great weapons, or just regular. Sword and shield. Well, axe and shield, I guess. Next thing I'm going to do is look at the marks that I can give these. I haven't researched all of the upgrades, so I won't be showing you with Slaanesh, but in all honesty, I generally don't give units the marks of Slaanesh, except for my knights. So, you want a balance between your army. Generally, I make sure that I have Khorne and Tzeentch in my army. Khorne is going to be our damage dealing units. I generally go with dual weapons for this, because it will have that higher melee attack, and of course it will give them frenzy and anti-infantry. So we're going to turn these now into dual weapons. Now I have a Chaos Warriors of Khorne with dual weapons unit that was originally, about 20 seconds ago, some Marauders. I'm going to do this again, turning them into Chaos Warriors, and then turning them into dual axes of Khorne. Now, it's great to have a whole bunch of Chaos Warriors of Khorne with dual axes, but also you need spears. Right now I'm fighting some dwarves, so I don't exactly need the spears, but let's say I was fighting these beastmen over here. They have minotaurs, which I'm sure that Chaos Warriors of Khorne could deal with. However, it's better to have spears. So, what do I recommend you do? Make one of your units, or 2 of your units, Chaos Halberds of Khorne, or of Undivided, and then make them Tzeentch. Now, why make them Tzeentch? Well, Tzeentch have a banner on their units, which will soak up most of the charge damage before you take any actual damage. Which means, as they continue to cycle charge you, you will regain some of that barrier and just negate a whole bunch of damage that they're going to be doing. So generally, I have my halberds as Tzeentch. For my great weapons, I generally do Nurgle, because that poison effect, let's open up that unit roster, Chaos Warriors of Nurgle with great weapons. That poison effect makes it so that they're doing less damage to you. And without those silver shields that regular Chaos Warriors get, it's pretty good to negate a whole bunch of their base weapon damage and armor piercing weapon damage. So I generally just keep them Nurgle. Also, having those increased hit points and melee defense is pretty nice on great weapon units. So we make them great weapons. They're doing good now. And then we might make a couple of just regular Chaos Warriors of Khorne, just to negate costs. Now you can see that these Marauders can't be upgraded yet. That's fine. We'll upgrade them as soon as they rank up again. Later on, you will get even more experience, and once these Chaos Warriors of Khorne get to rank 7, you can turn them into Chosen. Generally, I pick, when I hit the Chaos Warrior stage, what I want their role to be in the army. For example, regular with shields, dual weapons, great weapons, or halberds. And then when I upgrade them to Chosen, I keep them in that role. Now, Horsemen also upgrade, and they can be turned eventually into Chaos Knights. So the first step is to turn them into Marauder Horsemasters. Pretty easy there. And then when they level up enough again, and once this technology is done being researched, they will turn into Chaos Knights, which will be a good addition to this army. On top of that, Trolls can be upgraded, and I highly recommend you do this upgrade. Chaos Trolls are pretty squishy in terms of getting hit. They have that poor leadership that will make them rout really quickly. So I recommend you upgrade them into Chaos Trolls that are armored. Why? Well, they're gonna gain a whole bunch of armor, which means you're gonna be getting hit less. And as long as you're taking engagements that are not against armor piercing units, you'll be doing really good with these. I always upgrade my trolls into armored trolls. They're just always going to be better. Forsaken can upgrade into Chaos Spawn. I don't entirely love Chaos Spawn as a unit though, so generally I just turn these into either Forsaken of Nurgle, of Slaanesh, because Forsaken are fast, so they can utilize that devastating flanker ability. As you can see right now, I don't have Sensuous Branding Iron, so I can't turn them into Slaanesh right now, so I'll just leave them be. On top of that, Golek, we can look at his army too and see that, oh, these units should probably be upgraded too into Chaos Warriors. And then he has enough damage dealing with these Dragon Ogres, so we're not going to upgrade them into Khorne. We're just going to leave them Undivided for now. Undivided are still good units, especially if you have a whole bunch of Undivided Authority, because that'll reduce your upkeep. Of course, make sure that these horsemen are turned into horse masters, and voila! We can now move on with our stronger armies, take more settlements much more easily, limiting casualties along the way, and getting that experience up so that we can turn them into Chosen. Now, a couple of recommendations on top of all of this. There's a couple of things that you can do to make sure that your units level up a lot faster. We're going to check out Harald Hamelstorm over here. I put 3 traits into training because it increases the experience gain by 30%. I do have another Exalted Hero that also has 3 perks into training, so that makes all unit experience gain increased by 60%. And then I picked up Chaos Strategist, which increases it by an additional 20%, which means all of these guys are getting plus 80% unit experience gain. Another way that you can upgrade them is keep yourself in raiding stance. Of course, this is going to help you with your economy that is probably always going to be negative, but on top of that, it gives you plus 75 unit experience gain for every turn. When you capture a settlement, sacking them will give you plus 100 unit experience gain for the next turn. So that's another great way to increase experience. These guys will level up next turn because they only need 5. And now with that sacrifice captives, they'll gain 100. Over here, beating enemy armies will also give you an option to execute your captives, and that will give you the same effect of plus 100 experience. And that's it. Basically, the idea is you upgrade your units, turn them into different marks to do special things, and make sure that your unit ranks are going up so that you can take or get better units. This does take a small amount of time, seeing as not every single unit will survive this process. Marauders are not a great unit to start with. They have a low stats. This guy's been buffing them a lot, and that's why their stats are so high. Generally, they are much lower than this, but when your stats are so low, your units die a lot, and it's going to be very hard for the first couple of guys to be upgraded. But that's it. I hope this taught you something and let you figure out how to not just be playing with Marauders an entire campaign. I've done that before and it really sucks. I will see you guys later. Thank you.